You may have been wondering where I've disappeared to in the past couple of months. Well, I've been pregnant and it's been no walk in the park. I wouldn't even say I've had a bad pregnancy symptom-wise. In fact, I've been really lucky. I've just been too tired to get anything done. But before I head off to the Lindo wing to give birth, I wanted to look back over my pregnancy fashion choices over the past 9 months. I'll show you the clothes I bought, the clothes I made, and how I navigated the minefield that is picking the right commercial clothing size during pregnancy. Hello and welcome to a maternity fashion video. My name is Ilona, I'm a milliner based in London and I am 9 months pregnant. I usually post hat content, but do let me know in the comments if maternity, postpartum and baby fashion interests you further. Please do like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I'm going to wind the clock back all the way to January 2024, which is the month in which I found out that I was pregnant. I immediately experienced changes in my body. I was constantly bloated and my bust had already grown a cup size. I know a lot of women put off buying maternity clothes until they absolutely need them. However, I wanted to get as much wear out of any new clothes I needed to buy to fit my new shape. So my advice to anyone experiencing pregnancy body changes is to get out there and find some new clothes straight away. I was so miserable in the first 3 months that I really needed something to lift my spirits, and clothes that fit well and look fantastic do this for me. At this time, even with my increased bust size, I could still fit into loose and floaty blouses such as these. They hid my bloating pretty well and had enough space in the bust to not have any annoying popping buttons. To go with these, I made my first maternity purchase, which was these leggings from Loval. I wanted a pair of natural fibre leggings that were good quality with 100% opacity that would go over my bloating bump, and these fit all of that criteria. I stopped being able to wear them at 6 months pregnant, as at that point they no longer fit over my bump and cut into my stomach, and they generally became a bit more uncomfortable. But I do plan on wearing these postpartum and probably during my periods once they eventually return, because I get super bloated, so the bump accommodation aspect of these will come in very useful. Now, let's talk maternity clothing sizes. This had me really confused. All the advice on the maternity clothing websites states to just buy your pre-pregnancy size. This would not have worked for me. I had filled out already so quickly that I actually had to go a size up. Usually I buy a UK size 10 or 12, which is a medium, but in these leggings I had to get a size large or a UK 14. When choosing sizes, whether you're pregnant or not, my advice is to look at the brand-specific size charts and go by your largest measurement. For example, if buying leggings, go by the hip size, not the waist size, and if buying a top, go by the bust size. The coat I wore during the cold months is a wrap style tie front woolen cape. This is my usual winter coat and luckily it still fits me just fine even at 9 months. Pregnancy specific coats can be very pricey, so I'm glad I was able to save some money and wear something I already had. My specific coat is about 15 years old from Coast. If you are looking for something similar, I suggest you use the search terms wool cape tie front coat. Now that I had my leggings, I wanted something dressier to wear out and about. This meant I was looking for a skirt. The only skirts I found in shops were either polyester fibres or figure-hugging, bump-showing designs. There was nothing for it, I'd have to make my own. Those of you who have watched my videos before know that I love a little bit of vintage style, and vintage maternity clothes are just genius in their construction. I want to do a whole separate video on how to pattern draft your own maternity skirt, but that's now going to have to wait until next year as I'm about to pop right now. But Just as a preview, these pencil skirts are designed to accommodate your growing bump by the use of a tie front and buttons. In the second trimester, I started to feel a lot better, so I was up for more sewing. I bought myself some more vintage sewing patterns and made the following outfits. This diamond dot jacket from McCall's 5156. Here I am wearing it at 14 weeks or 4 months pregnant, and also at 22 weeks or 5 months pregnant. Look at the size change in that bump. Here I have styled it with the Lovell leggings from earlier, a vintage straw bucket hat and some large sunglasses. But it worked equally well for the more dressed up occasion of the London Hat Walk. You can see my video on this where I talk more about this outfit, which I will link to in the top right. Here is my version of McCall's 4454, which I wore to my baby shower at 27 weeks or 6 months pregnant. I made it out of a Liberty floral print cotton lawn. I wanted to look pretty much like the glamorous lady on the pattern cover. Do you think I've managed it? Let me know in the comments below. My last sewn outfit was McCall's 3804. This time I went for a pink linen fabric in anticipation of hot summer weather. At 19 weeks or 5 months, I have styled it with my favourite turbantastic hat, which you can purchase through the link in the description box below. I wore it with some green espadrilles and a matching handbag. This was in May, and I loved the spring freshness of a pink and green colour combination. This linen set I have managed to wear all the way through to the end of my pregnancy. Here I am looking like a whale at 35 weeks or 8 months. Just look at how much that bump has grown, and it still fit the expanding linen skirt. And yes, I know it's heavily creased. Firstly, linen does just do that, but secondly, at 8 months, I wasn't so fussed about ironing anything anymore. In terms of shop-bought dresses, as May is my birthday month, I thought I'd treat myself to a dress from Seraphine, the maternity brand favoured by the Princess of Wales. Whilst I loved this dress, I think I only wore it twice, once on my birthday and then again to film a video on the Princess of Wales's Easter hats, which I'll link to up here. I think the problem is that Seraphine's clothes are meant for tall, slender people as opposed to the short and busty like myself. I was hoping to get this to be my hospital going home outfit, but when I tried it on last week, I couldn't get the buttons to close on my chest. I'm sure I will be able to wear it again because it really doesn't look like a maternity dress, but I am disappointed that I can't wear it now. My third trimester happened over the summer and I was starting to get really, really hot. So I swapped out the vintage pregnancy suits for some light and floaty bump-friendly dresses. First, my absolute favourite brand for this was Nobody's Child. I had quite a few of their dresses already from pre-pregnancy, so I knew I liked the fit and quality, and that I could continue wearing them post-pregnancy. They do have a maternity section on their website, but I have found some other models that worked great for me. This is the only shop where I got away with wearing my pre-pregnancy size, which is a UK 10. But I think this is to do with the construction of the dresses themselves. The models I wore were the Natalia, Elsa and Rosalia dresses. They are all particularly spacious in the bodices thanks to the shirring details. This elastication meant that they could expand with me as I grew. Here is the Natalia dress in action at Mr. Hat's birthday at 6 months pregnant. I styled it with my turbantastic hat model and some flat brown espadrilles. This is the Rosalia dress at 27 weeks or 6 months pregnant. I have styled it with my ribbonette boater hat that features black and white striped ribbons to match the black gingham of the dress. I'm also wearing flat striped espadrilles and a simple black cardigan as it was a little bit cold on that day. And this is the Elsa dress worn at 29 weeks or 7 months. I have styled it with a traditional French Provence niçoise hat that gives me plenty of shade from the summer sun and some white leather keds for a comfortable pair of shoes to walk in. The biggest drawback to these dresses is that they aren't designed to accommodate a bump. The front of the skirt lifts up as more fabric is needed to drape over the extra mass of the baby. This is where specialised maternity brands are best, as they take this into consideration and usually have a bit more material to the front length of the skirt. I want to end on my absolute favourite maternity-specific brand, and that is bump&milk. Most of their dresses are natural fibres, such as cotton or rayon viscose. Their dresses double up as breastfeeding friendly due to the clever zips they've got installed. Their sizing recommendation is to go with the size you were pre-pregnancy, but that doesn't take into account if you've expanded more than in just your stomach. To my surprise, my ribcage expanded by 2 bra band sizes by the second trimester. I went from being a 30F to a 34F. I suspect this is because I have a very short back and my ribcage expanded massively to make space for the baby. But this meant that I had to actually size up from my usual size of 10 to 12 and buy their 12 to 14. I only seem to have pictures of myself in their Provence dress. The Provence dress is really clever. It has buttons all the way down the front and a drawstring elasticated waist. It also has zippers over the bust. However, my criticism of this dress is that I don't think these zippers are placed well for larger busted ladies. I'm struggling to imagine the logistics of breastfeeding in this, as my bust apex is here, but the access to the zippers is all the way at the sides over here. I guess I'll have to wait and see if it will work, but I highly doubt it. My other favourite has been their Chelsea dress. I love the fitted bodice, puff sleeves and black trim inserts. Instead of the straw hat like the model is wearing, I wore mine with this simple black velvet headband. However, the dress no longer fit me after the second trimester, but I will be wearing it for breastfeeding as it's got those handily placed zippers. I also purchased the Chloe and Jamie wrap dresses, mainly because I wanted to look like the glamorous, carefree ladies in the pictures, but these dresses never fit me well enough to wear. In my third trimester, they no longer fit over my bump, and I didn't get round to sending them back as I was a bit put off by some of the reviews of this brand on Trustpilot saying that the returns process is not great. I'm really hoping that once baby is out and my bump is gone, I can at least breastfeed in them. And this concludes my roundup of recommendations for maternity fashion. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment to let me know if maternity, postpartum and baby fashion interests you further, or if I should just stick to hat content in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!